Let's get right into it. Number 1. The sleep switch that betrays you. Picture this. You're lying in bed, totally ready for a night of productive existential dread. You finally drift off, maybe dreaming about that one time in 6th grade you called the teacher mom. Suddenly your eyes pop open. The room looks weirdly familiar because it is your room, but you can't move a single muscle. Not your arm, not your foot, not even your pinky finger. Congratulations, you're living every horror movie cliche ever, except there's no actual monster, just your own traitorous nervous system. Here's what's happening. Your body has an off switch called REM atonia. During the deep, dreamy part of your sleep cycle, your brain basically turns your muscles off so you don't act out your dreams and end up drop-kicking your nightstand. Usually this paralysis flips back off before you wake up, but sometimes your brain messes up the timing and you wake up before the paralysis wears off. So you're conscious, but you can't even scratch your nose. The scientific term for this is oopsal paralysis. It's not just you, about 8% of people have experienced this, so you're in a weirdly exclusive club. Except no one wants to be in it. Your body is literally trying to keep you safe, but in the most inconvenient way possible. It's like your nervous system is an overzealous babysitter who duct tapes you to a chair, just in case you decide to moonwalk in your sleep. Basically, your brain's security system is working overtime and you're the unlucky bystander. Number 2. The demons in your bedroom. Imagine waking up unable to move and suddenly, oh great, there's a shadowy figure standing at the foot of your bed. Maybe it's watching you, maybe it's sitting on your chest, maybe it's making that heavy breathing sound that every horror movie villain has trademarked. In this moment, your rational brain is out to lunch and your imagination is hosting a paranormal fan convention. Here's the real kicker, you're not actually being haunted. Those demons, witches, and shadow people that people report during sleep paralysis, they're all courtesy of your own brain's greatest hits collection. Nightmares, hallucinations, and primal fear mashed together into a terrifying high-definition live show. Why? Because your brain, still partly stuck in REM dream mode, starts projecting images onto the waking world. It's like you're wearing virtual reality goggles, but they only stream content from your personal Things That Terrify Me playlist. Evolution did this to you. Our brains evolved to be hyper alert in moments of danger. But during sleep paralysis, the threat is just your bedroom lamp now starring as sinister shadow. The feeling of pressure on your chest, that's your breathing muscles still groggy from REM sleep. But your mind, being the creative overachiever that it is, decides it must be the work of a demon ghost or possibly your unpaid bills come to life. In summary, sleep paralysis is basically your brain glitching and letting your deepest anxieties audition for a horror film in your own bedroom. No demons needed, just an overactive imagination and poor REM to awake timing. Number 3. Your brain's DIY panic button. Let's say you're frozen in bed, starring in your own sleep paralysis horror show. What's the first thing your body does? That's right, panic, because nothing says start your morning, right, like a shot of pure unfiltered terror delivered straight to your adrenal glands. Your heart rate goes up, you start sweating, and your brain starts screaming, danger, danger, even though the only real threat is missing breakfast. This is your fight or flight system, except you can't fight and you definitely can't flight. It's like someone installed a fire alarm in your brain, then welded all the exits shut. The ancient part of your brain, the amygdala, is convinced you're about to be eaten by a saber-toothed tiger. It doesn't care that saber-toothed tigers are extinct, and your biggest threat is actually your phone alarm about to go off in 7 minutes. Here's the ironic twist. The more you panic, the worse everything feels. Your brain interprets your body's frozen state as evidence that something must be terribly wrong, which only makes the hallucinations and dread more intense. It's a feedback loop engineered by Mother Nature, who apparently has a dark sense of humor. So while you're lying there thinking, wow, this is it, I'm doomed, it's really just your body's panic button stuck in the on position blaring away until your systems finally reboot and you can move again. Number 4. Your body is an unskippable safety ad. Have you ever wondered why your muscles are paralyzed in the first place? Spoiler, it's not to torture you or provide inspiration for every sleep demon ever painted. It's actually a feature, not a bug. Your body is running the world's most annoying but necessary safety protocol, one that you absolutely cannot skip, mute, or fast forward. During REM sleep, your brain is throwing all kinds of wild dream parties, running flying sword-fighting robots, you name it. Without REM atonia, you'd be out of bed acting out every single one. People with rare disorders like REM sleep behavior disorder do just that punch kick and leap out of bed mid-dream, sometimes launching themselves into walls, furniture, or unfortunately, their sleeping partners. So yes, your body paralyzing itself is the equivalent of strapping a toddler into a high chair, frustrating but probably for the best. Sleep paralysis is just what happens when you wake up before your nervous system has had its morning coffee and rebooted muscle control. So if you ever wondered if your body has your best interests at heart, the answer is yes, except when it forgets to sync up the operating system and the hardware. Bottom line, that frozen feeling. That's just your body being extra running security checks you didn't ask for, all to save you from punching your pillow during your next ninja dream. Number 5. Alien abductions and other unsolved mysteries. Let's take a detour into the X-Files department of sleep paralysis. Have you ever noticed that stories of alien abductions, ghostly visits, and midnight demon attacks sound suspiciously like what happens during a sleep paralysis episode? You wake up, can't move, feel a weight on your chest, and see weird lights or figures. The only thing missing is the theme music and a government cover-up. Turns out sleep paralysis is the world's best unintentional PR agent for supernatural folklore. Across cultures and centuries, people have blamed everything from witches to extraterrestrials to vengeful spirits for these nighttime encounters. In medieval times, it was called the night hag, which sounds like a villain from a Disney movie, but was just a fancy way of saying, "My brain glitched last night." In more recent decades, some folks have swapped out witches for little green men and black-eyed children. Why does your brain do this? When you're stuck between dream and reality, your mind goes looking for explanations. It grabs whatever scary stories, cultural myths, or late-night documentaries you fed it, then projects them onto your paralyzed state like a psychedelic art installation gone rogue. Congratulations, you've just become your own unreliable narrator. The truth: there's no abduction, haunting, or demonic invasion, just your mind creativity and a sprinkle of REM sleep gone wrong. But hey, at least you've got a great story for parties or therapy. Number 6. When science freaks out. 2. So you think sleep paralysis is only weird for you. Turns out science spent a good couple centuries totally baffled by it too. In the old days, doctors had no idea what was going on, just a lot of eyebrow raising, and maybe it's an imbalance of humors, which frankly sounds like a medieval way to describe a bad mood. Some physicians blamed indigestion, others suspected demonic possession. Basically, if you couldn't move after waking up, you were either possessed, poorly fed, or just not praying hard enough. It wasn't until the last 100 years that neuroscientists stopped blaming witches and started actually scanning brains. Surprise, sleep paralysis is just your REM sleep security system sticking around a little too long. Now we have MRI machines and sleep labs to watch people freeze up like Windows 95 at 3 a.m. And yes, scientists get paid to watch that. Jealous today, sleep researchers can map your brain waves and watch your muscle tone drop to 0 during REM. They know exactly when your mind wakes up before your body. And while that doesn't make the experience any less freaky, at least you can blame biology and not the local coven. So the next time you're convinced you're being abducted or haunted, just remember, even the experts were stumped for a few millennia. You're in good, if slightly confused company. Number 7. How to escape or you can't hack the Matrix. You're trapped in your own body. The boogeyman is auditioning for Broadway at the end of your bed and your brain is running Windows 3.1. Surely there's a secret code to break out of sleep paralysis, right? Sorry, but unless you've got the cheat codes for reality, there's not much you can do except wait. That said, some people swear by escape plans. Try to wiggle a finger or a toe. Focus on blinking. Imagine moving your tongue. These tiny movements can sometimes jumpstart the system and convince your body to snap out of it. It's basically like trying to restart a frozen phone by mashing every button at once, except your phone is your face. For most people, sleep paralysis ends on its own after a few seconds or minutes that feel like an eternity, or at least one awkward gym class. Ironically, the more you panic, the longer it seems to last. So, if you want to speed things up, try to relax. Yes, that's like telling someone not to look down when they're dangling off a cliff, but hey, this is science, not customer service. And for the record, screaming for help almost never works. You might feel like you're shouting at the top of your lungs, but in reality, you're making the kind of faint gargling noise usually reserved for malfunctioning dishwashers. Number 8. Why your brain is a terrible roommate. Let's get brutally honest. Your brain, despite all its fancy neurons and Shakespearean soliloquies, is not a considerate roommate. When sleep paralysis hits, it doesn't send a polite memo or post a warning on the fridge. Nope, it just leaves you locked in place with a special effects package straight out of a low-budget horror flick. It's as if your brain is bored and decides to run a simulation. What if you woke up, couldn't move, and also had front row seats to your worst fears? Meanwhile, the logical part of your mind is pounding on the bathroom door, trying to get in, but the part in charge of dreams and panic is jamming out to scary background music. This is the classic case of your emotional, survival-driven lizard brain totally ignoring your rational, just wants to go back to sleep brain. Scientists call this dissociation between body and mind, two parts of your consciousness arguing over the remote control. One side is saying, we're safe, nothing's wrong, while the other is shrieking, everything is spiders. No wonder you wake up feeling like you've gone 3 rounds with your own nervous system. So next time your brain gives you a midnight scare fest, remember, it's not haunted, it's just deeply disorganized, and unfortunately, you're the one stuck cleaning up after the party. Number 9. It's not just night owls. If you think sleep paralysis is only for those of us who binge watch documentaries at 2 a.m., think again. This phenomenon isn't picky. Early birds, night owls, and even the annoyingly well-adjusted I go to bed at 10 people can get it. In fact, it often hits during transitions in your sleep cycle, especially if you're sleep-deprived, jet-lagged, or running on enough caffeine to fuel a minor city. Stress, anxiety, and irregular sleep patterns are all VIP passes to the sleep paralysis club. Shift workers, students, new parents, and anyone with a Netflix password are statistically more likely to find themselves stuck in a real-life screensaver. There's even evidence that genetics play a role. Yes, it runs in families, so if your parents have horror stories about shadowy visitors and body lock, consider it your birthright. Still, nobody really gets a say in when it happens. You can be the world's healthiest person meditating and eating kale and still wake up immobilized, gasping for breath and convinced your laundry basket is possessed. Sleep paralysis is the ultimate reminder that sometimes biology doesn't care about your wellness routine, your best defense. A regular sleep schedule, less stress, and maybe accepting that your brain is going to pull a prank or two, whether you deserve it or not. Number 10. The upside to your midnight horror show. Okay, so sleep paralysis sounds like an all-expenses-paid trip to a psychological haunted house. But brace yourself, there's actually an upside. Some researchers believe these episodes are tied to creativity, lucid dreaming, and a brain that's just a little too good at blurring the line between fantasy and reality. Think about it. All those wild hallucinations, out-of-body sensations, and waking dreams. For a small quirky segment of humanity, these are the same ingredients for vivid, imaginative thought. Lucid dreamers, people who realize they're dreaming and take control of the narrative, often report more frequent sleep paralysis. And some artists, writers, and even scientists say their best ideas come from these strange twilight states. So if you've ever painted a masterpiece, written a killer story, or solved a math problem, after a sleepless night you might owe your brain's glitchy sleep software a thank you card. Of course, you probably don't want to schedule a sleep paralysis session for your next brainstorming meeting. But knowing your brain is capable of crossing wires between sleep and waking might explain a lot, like why you dream in color or occasionally see your cat morph into your high school gym teacher. In other words, your midnight paralysis isn't just terror, it's also proof that your brain is secretly an avant-garde artist, unpredictable, messy, and never boring. Number 11. How to talk about it without sounding nuts. Here's the final awkward hurdle trying to explain sleep paralysis to someone who's never had it. You can lay out the facts: I woke up, couldn't move, saw a shadow demon, felt like I was being abducted by aliens, and watch as your friends quietly decide never to sleep over at your house again. The line between I experienced a neurological event and I starred in a B-grade horror movie is razor thin. But here's the truth: talking about sleep paralysis is actually important. For one thing, it helps shatter the stigma and the centuries-old myths that you're cursed, broken, or making it all up for attention. More importantly, it means you can find support because you are absolutely not alone. There are online forums, support groups, and even therapists who specialize in sleep disorders. You'd be amazed at how many people have their own story about shadow people, night hags, or that one time they screamed themselves awake and probably woke up the cat too. Plus, talking about it with a dash of humor can make the whole ordeal feel a little less terrifying and a little more like one of those you had to be there stories. Sharing your experience can help others recognize what's happening to them and maybe even help them laugh at their own haunted laundry basket. So go ahead, tell your story. If nothing else, you'll definitely be the most interesting person at brunch. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.